It's Metroid time! Hello and welcome to another figure review. Today I'm going to have a look at the Figma 349 Metroid Prime Free Corruption Samus Aran. As usual, you got the classic Figma box with a little Nintendo seal of approval or authenticity or something like that. Whatever, we got some more pictures of the figure on the side with the number, with the name. And some more poses. I really liked it. I'm probably going to do something like that. That really reminds me of, what was it? Return of Samus? Wasn't she in like a crouch position? I think she was aiming the gun though. Regardless of that, more pictures of the figure and the box and the window box with the figure in it. So let's take her out and have a look at Samus. Fun fact, this is actually the second time that Figma is doing a Samus Aran figure in the armor. We also had the Zero Suit Samus, but I'm going to have the other one in here for comparison later. I already feel like this one's a lot bigger. I feel like this is a lot that went into this, and it's not just recycling of the old one. Well, we'll get to that. First and foremost, I'm going to have a look at the size of this one real quick. She towers at 15.5 centimeters tall to the tippy top of her head. And I say towers because for Figma, that's pretty tall. Now having a look at the paint and detail, and wow, I feel like you really gotta go in deep. You really gotta look at all the detail in there. I mean, you can see in the shoulders over here, all these green lines. They are so well painted, and it's also molded on there. Like really, these tiny little things. Then we got the visor in the helmet, and once again the stripes over here. It's so well done. The visor is very nice and reflective. It's a bit more shiny. The rest of the armor is done in a very cool metallic paint job. You can see all the particles in there, and that's what I'm talking about when I say metallic. I want it to look like that. This really pops, and I don't know, is there some spots over there? I guess there we have some little bit of holes there in the mold. Quality control, but yeah, look at all the detail in the back of the helmet, and is that a jetpack? Does she have a jetpack? I'm sorry. It's been a while since I played some Metroid. But overall, yeah, it's pretty clear. Also the lines over here, the green lines in the chest. The torso area, oh my god, the gun. Look at these fine lines going down over there. We have a hole in there for an energy effect. I think she has an energy effect. Don't quote me on that. Well, we get to that once we get to the accessories. But also done in a nice kind of green turquoise paint job going on in the gun. You have the green gems. I think there's like a... yeah, there's like a green gem in there. Probably with some... got the green paint job under there, just with like a greenish gem covering it up. And we got another one down here. And down to the boots. With even detail under it. So, yeah. This figure looks good. That's for damn sure. Now for the articulation, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, let me tell you. First of all, you have the hat, which I'm assuming is just on a ball joint. You can rotate that around. Bring it back and forth a little bit, side to side. No, not really that much. Just, it's more like the neck that rotates with it. But because of the armor, you obviously block. But you still have the hinge over here. I think it's just on a ball that goes into pack and just goes into the torso. Nicely covered up over here on the neck, which is like a floaty piece. Which is not connected anywhere, is what I'm trying to tell you, this piece over there. But yeah, rotation, movement is pretty good with it. Now with the shoulders, they got something interesting in here. You got like a, what do we call it, a Y joint. It's shaped like a Y and it has a ball pack on each side. You got a ball pack in the chest, so you can bring it back and forth. With that, can rotate it around. Then you have another ball pack going up here into the shoulder pad, so you can, same thing. Can rotate that around a little bit. It's obviously limited because there's not much room to play around with it, but it goes up and down nicely for your articulation. And then the last ball pack is in the arm itself, so you can bring that out to the side and you can bring it forward, and it moves nicely with the shoulder pad. Yeah, I can bring it forward all the way, and it does fall off, obviously. There. It's one of these things I've had it disconnected quite a bit, but I didn't have it break off, just for the record. Now, the thing with it is, it's pretty good overall for articulation. I just wish they would have covered it up a little bit more over here. You can still cover it up with the shoulder pads, but you still always have a little bit of a gap over here. Now, I'm saying that because you have this flappy piece over here. This is completely soft plastic. This is really rubbery. And it covers up nicely up here, so I'm not getting why they just didn't do another part over there. make it like cut, not connected to this, so when you move it forward it doesn't get in the way, and when you have it like that it would have still covered up. And also you can rotate it around. You don't have bicep sole, but it's on a ball pack, so you can rotate it. To your will, you have a hinge, simple hinge, ball hinge, in the elbow. That doesn't look so great, but I mean, whatever, it gets the job done. Then over here we have the fist, rotating around, and it doesn't really have the greatest range of motion. Let me see, it's just, yeah, it's just on a ball pack. And I guess you could pull it out to get some more. No, not really. It's very limited because they didn't really leave any room. I mean, once again, it looks good like that, otherwise you would have a big ball pack sticking out. Torso area, we have the chest that's rotating around, going back and forth, going side to side, and you can turn it all the way around. Well, actually it gets kind of blocked back there. And you have this little panel over here to cover it up nicely, all the holes in it, and move with the articulation. Then the legs, bam, she can play soccer, like she can really high kick the crap out of their enemies, and it's so nicely hidden over here. This is the same rubbery material. I'm saying, you have this entirely covered up and it doesn't get in the way, so why not have it covered up over there? Regardless, I mean, it's still good. I'm just confused at why they didn't do it, but still. Articulation back and forth is very nice. It doesn't really go out to the side because of all the armor, but you have another panel over here to just cover it up and give you that little bit more of articulation out of it. So overall, it's really good. And I think it has the same wide joint. There it is, now you can see it. And you also have a 5 swivel up here. You can bring that almost all the way around, so that's pretty good. Then we have the knees, same thing, simple hinge, simple ball hinge. And we have a super great ankle rocker in the foot. Look at this. It looks pretty seamless. Of course, it's pretty wonky when you got the foot like that, but it looks good and has super articulation. Goes forward nicely, goes back, and you have a toe hinge, and then you got the articulation. Now getting to the accessories, and since the figure is pretty big, there's really not that much. First of all, you have the morph ball with a peg hole in it, so you can put it on the base if you want to. Which is fine, actually. I mean, I like that because it won't stay on its place by itself because it's a ball. Obviously, it rolls around, and it actually rolls right off my table. So then we have another blaster effect, like, well, not really an effect, but like a blaster upgrade, which is nicely done, but I'm kind of wondering, there are no blast effects. So this one, you have the yellow in there, but here you have a hole, and this one doesn't go on there. I mean, we established that you kind of put this one out, or not. Yeah, put this one out, and you put the other one on it. So then you have this blast effect. I mean, not, again, blast upgrade, but I still don't get why there's a hole in this one and no hole in this one. And she doesn't have a blast effect, for the record, if you're wondering. And then we have some hands. You have like an open grabbing hand. You have like just posing hands, really. You don't have a holding hand because she has nothing to hold, and she has the thumbs up. And of course, you only get hands for, or thumbs down. And obviously, you only get hands for one side because she has the gun on the other side. Also nice with the gem in there. And the Figma Classic, you got your Figma base and your instructions and whatnot. And there you go. That's, like I'm saying, that's all for the accessories for this Samus Aran figure. And now it's comparison time. We have the Metroid LM Samus Aran from Figma with the new one, the Metroid Free Corruption Samus. Now, first of all, of course, it is a different mode. It is a different costume. This one is a lot more detailed in the shoulders, in the helmet. Let me have a closer look. And also the color scheme is a lot different, actually. I didn't even notice that the first time around. But with the previous version, the old version, let's just call it the old version, the right one's the old one, this one's the new one. I mean, we've been looking at this one, you know that one's the new one. But anyhow, it's a lot more detailed in the visor part, as you can tell. There's just a lot more going on. And this one's a lot darker, just overall, in the orange and also the red. It's more fiery red. This one's a little bit, I wouldn't even say muted. That doesn't sound very nice. And also in the back. I mean, overall, just a lot more detail. Going into the new one, also a little bit more in height, in the height department. Not that much, honestly. When I took out of the packaging the new one, I thought there was she was a lot taller than the old one. Not really the case. I mean, she is taller, but not by that much. And I mean, as far as the articulation goes, this one's also a lot more ancient, but I mean, it still worked. I'm not saying any bad thing about it. Blaster facts, just... I mean, overall, color scheme is more dark, and the new one is more detailed, and the new one is a little bit taller. So if you want to choose, I definitely choose this one because it just looks better. This one's still cool though. I mean, I don't want to talk bad about it, but we definitely have a winner. Now let's get to the final thoughts, and I wanted to put it in a little bit more of a dynamic post to really show you what the articulation actually can do. It is kind of wonky how the lag turns out over there, but you're not really seeing that if you're just looking at her like that. And you can pull that out. You can't really pull that out, never mind. But it still looks good. It still got some pretty good articulation. And I mean, final thoughts of this figure, she looks fantastic. All the detail that went in, it just really pops. The paint job is amazing. I love it. There's so much small details in there. And like the gun, the lines in the gun, and the lines in the legs, and the lines over here, and oh my god, just overall splooge. And the articulation is very nice. And I'm saying nice because, I mean, overall with shoulders, you don't really get the legs up far. But that's really nitpicking. It's one of these things. They made a very good looking figure with good articulation. You could say, oh, they could have done this and that for the articulation, but then it would have destroyed the mold, really, and that would have been a shame, because the way it looks right now, it's fantastic. So 100% recommended. I do love me some Samus, and this figure is just looking very good. So there you go, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, gameplay stuff, and whatever Samus Aran wants.